All right, continuing on now to example 3. Let's take a look at Marie. It says she deposits $1,650 for 3 years at 3% interest, compounded daily. What is her ending balance? So in this case, we were talking before about how I wouldn't want to do it 365 times. How about doing it 1,095 times? So this is where it's really wonderful that someone was able to come up with a formula that saved us a lot of time and energy and got us the answers that we needed. So again, we're going to start by writing out our P, R, and T. And it says here that it was $1,650, so there's my principal. 3 years, 3% interest, so written as a decimal is 0.03. Compounded daily, so its N is 365. Plugging that into my formula, I have 1,650 times 1 plus 0.03 divided by 365, all to the 365 times 3. Now, where this becomes very important is you're going to need to make sure that we use our parentheses. There's a huge difference between multiplying 365 by everything here in the parentheses or multiplying 365 by 3 and then taking that result and multiplying it out. So, as we go through here, I'll show you with the parentheses. It's just going to be very important that we use them. So we're going to start off again, 0.03 divided by 365 plus 1, and we get that value. And then it's to the open parenthesis, 365 times 3, close parenthesis, enter. And you'll notice on there, it multiplied it, or it put it to the power of 1,095. Now we're going to multiply it by our 1,650, and we get a total of 1,805.38. Now I don't know about you, but that's much easier than doing this 1,095 times. So again, the answer is 1,805.38. Please go ahead and press pause, solve this you do. When you're ready, press play and we'll move on. Okay, so here again we're going to get all of our values ready on the side, my B, P, R, and T. So it says here that Kate deposits $2,350 into an account that earns an interest rate of 3.1, which is 0.031 as a decimal. It's compounded monthly. Well, there's 12 months in a year. And it says, what is her balance after 5 years? So plugging this into our values, we get B equals 2,350 times 1 plus 0.031 divided by 12, all to the 12 times 5. So as with our first example, it's going to be really important when we use those parentheses. So hopefully when you put it into the calculator, you did 0.031 divided by 12 plus 1, and then to the power of, open parenthesis, 12 times 5. Now some of you are able to do that in your head and you know that 12 times 5 is 60. That's fine, and you can go ahead and just put 60. But if you can't, make sure you use those parentheses so that it comes out correctly. Last, we're going to multiply it by our principal, and we end up with a total of $2,743.45. So hopefully that's what you got. Again, $2,743.45. All right, moving on to the last example here. And now we're talking a different formula, and it's called the annual percentage yield. So it says here that Sharon deposited $8,000 into a 1-year account at 3.2%, compounded daily, and what is her APY? Well, let's still go ahead and identify all of our values. I want us to get used to doing that at all times. So the principal is 8,000. The rate is 0.032 as a decimal. It's compounded daily, so that's 365. And it says that it was for an annual percentage yield, so the time in this case is 1. Now, annual percentage yield, what that is when you think about simple interest versus compound interest, the difference is simple interest, you're only earning interest on that initial deposit. But you've learned since that compound interest means that you're not only earning interest on that initial deposit, but you're also earning interest on your interest. And so you're earning, in essence, a higher interest rate than a simple interest. And that's where the annual percentage yield comes in. It tells you what that actual rate is. So in this case, the APY, or annual percentage yield, is going to be 1 plus R over N, all to the N minus 1. So let's plug our values in. We've got 1 plus 0.032 divided by 365, all to the 365th power minus 1. So let's see how we do that in the calculator. So we'll clear out the last value. And let me kind of move this over here so that we can see it while we're working it. So we've got 0.032 divided by 365. Let's clear that out. 365 plus 1 gives us that value to the 365th power, and then minus 1. And you'll see here what you get is 0.0325. So we've got 0.0325. Now if we're changing a percent to a decimal, we move it 2 times to the left, but now we're changing a decimal to a percent, so we're going to move it 2 times to the right. And the annual percentage yield on a 3.2% account is 3.25. So that's the actual value that they will be earning. Please press pause, solve for the annual percentage yield here. When you're ready, press play and we'll get started. All right, let's take a look at it. So our principal here, you should have gotten 3,000. Our rate is 0.041. It compounds daily, so it's 365 days. And we're looking at a yearly yield. So plugging it into my formula, again, APY equals the 1 plus R over N, all to the N minus 1. Plugging that in, I get 1 plus 0.041 divided by 365, all to the 365th power, minus 1. So plugging this into our calculator again, we get 0.041 divided by 365 plus 1 gives us that value, all to the 365th power, and then we're going to subtract 1. And we end up with 0.0418. So hopefully that's what you got, 0.0418. Moving my decimal over twice, the annual percentage yield on this account is going to be 4.18%. Great job, everyone.